Hello once again in South Florida. Welcome to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. He's the co-founder of LSF Capital. I'm your host, Spike Spangle, and today we're going to talk about retirement planning solutions. Mr. Len Strickler, how you doing this week?
Doing great. Glad to be here with you again. I know I saw something where we've done quite a few of these together.
We've done quite a few television shows, double the amount of radio shows, and I learned something from you every single week, my friend.
Thank you.
What I've learned is not to mess with you when it comes to the martial arts. Folks, you can get your own complimentary copy of Len's new book, Way of the Financial Warrior. So when you think about our money, it's not just about offense. It's not just about stepping on the gas pedal and trying to earn as much as you can. When you get to retirement, we need to take into account the defense of it. And that's why Len wrote this book. As one of the viewers of our program, if you'd like to get a complimentary copy of the book, call the phone number, schedule an appointment, come on in. Len will probably even sign it for you.
There you go.
Hey, let's hop to it right now. We want to talk about some retirement solutions. There's a lot of different things going on. Let's kick off with Social Security. Okay. Today, Len, I'm hearing that more Americans are taking Social Security earlier than ever. They're 62, more and more of them are doing it. How do you and Art, how does LSF Capital feel about taking Social Security early?
Well, I think, Spike, it depends on the individual, okay? I mean, again, it's not one of those things where one size fits all. Everybody's different. Everybody's got different scenarios. We do tell folks that, you know, if it's possible to wait, you're going to get an 8% increase, right, every year, up to 70. So it's significant. It's a good amount of money. I mean, you may be, you know, looking at, well, you know, if you retire in 2023 at full retirement age, right, your maximum benefit would be $3,627 for full retirement ages are different depending on when you were born. However, if you retire at 62, your maximum benefit is $2,572. At age 70, that maximum benefit would be $4,555. Now, you think about that, and you times that, that's a big pot of money that's sitting there that we
You just talked about a huge swing, very, very simply. You take it 62, you're 2,500. Full retirement age, 3,500-ish. And if you wait to 70, 45, that's a $2,000 swing at 4,500 right there. That. And more Americans are taking it earlier. Is it in their best interest, or are they scared of it going away?
That's what I think. They're, you know, we're members of the NSSA, National Social Security Association. It's an organization that was founded by a CPA, Mark Kleiner, and a gentleman named Jim Blair, who was 37 years with Social Security, okay? I mean, the guy knows Social Security inside and out. And so we have access to those folks as well, right, if we need help, because there are actually 258 ways, Spike, to take Social Security. Most people don't know that. It's fairly complex, right? But the thing is, Social Security is probably out of money. It used to be 2035. Now they're saying 2033. That the trust fund's out of money.
So we're talking a very, very serious issue for those here in South Florida. The possibility of your Social Security being reduced 10, maybe 20%, sometime in the next 8 to 10 years.
Right.
What can that mean for people's income?
That's the problem. I mean, we've got to help folks, right, be able to really set up their own pension plan and their own Social Security plan, right? And we can do that in a number of different ways that we do. We work with folks to do that. But yeah, Social Security, a lot of folks are taking it early. But again, we want to educate them on, you know, what does that mean? What's the ramifications of that? Can you wait? Now, we had a gentleman come in not long ago, and he said, Len, look, he said, I got a, you know, family disease. I got a disease that's in my family with men. And he said, every single one of my family members, uncles, brothers, died with this disease by age 60, well, I think it was 68 or somewhere around there. He said, Len, you know, now, in that case, right, it makes sense. I mean, I don't blame him, you know, so we ask, how's your health? Could be a factor, right?
But on the flip side, if he said every single one of my uncles and fathers and everybody in my family lived to the age of 95.
That's right. Now it's a different scenario, right? Well, hey, you got, you know, a good shot.
And obviously, there's no absolutes.
Right.
I mean, we can't
Absolutely.
say. But if there is longevity in the family, if you are healthy, it might be something to consider. Let's take this to the live events, because I know you do live events all around the area here in South Florida. Everything from steakhouses to the classic car museum. That one's always a lot of fun.
Right.
Are you helping folks out with Social Security there? Because I know it's a very individualized thing. What kind of questions do you?
Yeah, we do. We give them kind of a high level, you know, overview of Social Security. But a lot of folks come for that. A lot of people do want to know what to do with their Social Security. But, you know, at the workshops, obviously, we can't answer it. Social Security is so specific to each individual, so we don't have time to answer those questions. But they can come in and see us, okay? And I guarantee you, with what the affiliation we have with NSSA, I promise you, we can get your answers. So, you know, and there are some answers that, you know, a lot of times people, you know, want to understand, can they claim on their husbands, you know, well, if they've been married 10 years, you know, and a lot of people don't even know that.
Well, let's be honest. It's South Florida here. There's a lot of blended families.
That's right.
We've got either through passing or through divorce. And so this can be complicated. I think you've alluded to me as well, that somebody didn't even realize they could claim on their ex's Social Security. Right. It doesn't drain. You can have 3, 4, 5 different exes drain off of your Social Security.
Well, Johnny Carson did. He had 4 wives, right? And every single one of them were able to draw on his, and didn't affect him.
Right.
So
now there's a few different parameters. I think a duration of time that you've been married, and that when you claim that Social Security, that you aren't married either. Yeah. But before you make assumptions on your Social Security, you can speak with someone. Now, you don't mind talking about Social Security, even though you don't make anything from that, so to speak? No,
because again, it's part of the overall plan. I mean, that's a pool of money. If you live to, let's say, they're saying what the average age is 85, 86, whatever now. If you're a male, females live longer. But if you think about it, if you look at that pot of money, right, it's about $1 million if you're married. Okay, and if you're single, it's around $500,000. You know, if you live to that age that they've determined, 85, 86, whatever. But I mean, think about it. That's a pot of money that we have to plan on. You know, we have to put that into our analysis and make sure that we take that into account.
Len, we've got a lot more to talk about on today's retirement program. Folks, you can get your own complimentary copy of Len's book and written financial plan when you make an appointment to come into the office. Call the phone number you see right down here. Get a complimentary copy of the book, Way of the Financial Warrior. We'll put together your own written financial plan. And for you, our television viewers, that's no cost to you, no obligation. More Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler when we get back right after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just a downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. I'm your host, Spike Spangler. We're talking about retirement solutions today. One of the things I'm concerned about, Len, is a report that we shared, I think, on our weekly radio program from the Employee Benefit Research Institute, saying Americans' confidence in their ability to be able to retire it's one of its lowest marks in nearly half a century.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We know that costs are going up. We know that inflation's been really high. The stock market volatility, it just gives people goosebumps. But the weird thing is that we've talked about this a lot, is that people are living longer.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. I think it's going blindly into retirement has got a lot of people scared right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm thinking of a story about a client that just came. She's now a client. But Patty, it was really interesting. She came in to meet with us. And it was really cool because she had heard us on radio, right, you and I, and she got a copy of the book, right, Way of the Financial Warrior. Folks, we'd love to get that in your hands, right? Just come on out, come in for a planning session with Art and I. It's no cost, it's complimentary. And I'll go ahead and get this book in your hands, and I'll even sign it for you. And I may show you a move, like a high kick. Anyway, we'd love for you to come in. But Patty, she came in and was so cool. She literally had the book, Spike, and she had all these little tabs on it, and she had underlined everything in this book. And she said, Len, this is true. She said, this book helped me so much understand, because you did it, you put it in lay terms. It was a fun story about your background. And she said, Len, I really enjoyed it. I got a bunch she had all these questions written down, right? But here was Patty, who literally just was a hard worker. She was making good money. She had 401k here. She had money over here. She had over, I don't know, probably, I'd say $2 million. But she just had her head down working. And she said, Len, and I was meeting with her and with Eric, she said, I just don't know. There's stuff everywhere here, and I don't know, kind of what to do. I'm working. I'm a hard worker. And but I've read your book, and I just want some help. And we were able to take and put together a plan for her. We took our time with Patty, like I like to do with all of our clients. Folks, we'll take our time and we'll work with you. Whatever questions you have, we'll make sure that we answer all your questions. And she had a lot of questions. But we finally put together a really nice plan for Patty. She's now a client, and she's following exactly what the steps that we put in place for her. So folks, we're here to help you. And we've got a number of stories like that. And that's what we do. And that's what we want to help you with, folks.
And that's, I think, what I always like to say to the viewers and our listeners as well, is that you're not alone. I mean,
yeah,
Patty was a hard worker. There are times when you talk to rooms full of people, smart people, hardworking Americans, saved money, $500,000, $1 million, $5 million. But they're like, okay, now what?
Here I am.
Having those retirement accounts is not necessarily a retirement plan.
Correct.
Right now, those are just different buckets. And you've talked about this before, different buckets of money. So how did you maybe help Patty organize those buckets? Because there's stuff that she's going to spend now. There's stuff that she's going to spend later. There's stuff that maybe she needs to put into a trust in case she's not able to direct those funds. How do you help put together the plan?
Well, I mean, that's exactly what, Eric and I do. I mean, what we do at LSF Capital, we take a look at all those. I mean, she had stocks at Fidel at one place, and they were all over. I mean, now she had some good stocks. She had some things that we said, hey, we're just going to keep them here, right? We're just going to keep them right here, and they're fine. And she felt comfortable with that. She had I don't know, maybe $160,000 in a bank account, right? But she wanted that there for safety, right? And we always say, folks, maybe have 6 months or a year in your taxable bucket for emergencies, and then this money that's in the taxable bucket, right, or the tax deferred bucket, we want to get some of that money over into this tax-free bucket, right? So we're looking at things for her for doing Roth conversions, right? But Patty wanted that money there for safety. Yeah. So you know what? We said, Patty, leave it. It's fine. If you want that much there, leave it there, right? But here's some other stocks, other things that you have. And she said, oh, that's fine. Let's do. I'm going to do what you guys tell me to do. But that one little thing, she couldn't let go of. And we said, fine, you know, because Patty, what are you getting in the bank with that? $160,000, what are you getting?
Yeah, 0.03 right now.
You know,
I mean, there are high interest savings accounts, but I mean, those will fluctuate, and we're afraid those are going to start lowering over
with
time.
The rates,
as the interest rates come down.
But we got her happy, and you know, we got a good plan for her. She's very happy with it, but she's going to keep that 100. She wants that money there.
Take me all the way through though. So with someone like this, we had several different kinds of accounts.
Right.
We've talked about the technology. The technology of this stuff can be overwhelming. I mean, she probably had access. She can probably see these things online. But how do you actually, nuts to bolts, turn this into an income plan? Do you tell her how much to take from the accounts, or do you help automate it for her, or does this go through tool? How does this actually work for somebody that you help?
Yeah, I mean, we actually will, you know, the tools are out there, right? And we use a number of those tools to help, you know, we do a risk analysis, a risk analyzer for folks to show them, you know, and we had to ask Patty, what risk on the chart, we have a graph, you know, what risk do you really want to take with some of these, you know, that you want to keep over here with the Fidelity? And she's, you know, finally, we kept working with her, finally she said, well, I don't want to take a lot of risks. You know, maybe I want to take, you know, maybe 20% in here, you know. So, you know, but it took a while to get her to understand what we were trying to get, you know, the risk. What is a risk factor? You know, and I mean, most people will say, Spike, you know, we'll ask them, how much money do you want to lose? How much money can you afford to? I don't lose any money. Well, I get that. We get it. But we don't want to put it all over here, right? In this, you know, an annuity, or, you know, you got to have some money that we feel is going to really, you know, grow for you, right? You want a growth. And, but anyway, we take them through various tools, but eventually we come up with a really nice full plan, right? With a nice leather binder, and everything is in one place. Another thing that a lot of folks come in, Spike, is, and she did too, because she had worked at a number of different jobs, they have money everywhere. Right. And it's like, let's consolidate. She said, yeah, I don't know what I got. I'm kind of all over. Let's consolidate this for you and get it in one place.
And then when she had all those different accounts, did she realize how either risky or not risky some of those accounts even were? I mean, she probably made those elections years ago.
Yeah, she did, yeah. And you're right. She said, I just had forgotten about this. A lot do people do that.
A lot, I mean, millions of Americans.
Yeah, and you know what they do, Spike? They trust the what do you call it?
The plan administrator
at their work.
But you're the one making the elections.
Yeah, right. And most people don't. They don't understand that. They don't have a. We've had people come in and say, "I didn't even know it was in the market." I mean, it's literally. So yeah, that's where we help.
There's a whole other can of worms called target date funds. We won't go into that before the break, but I mean, these are funds out there. You pick a date and it's supposed to glide down the risk for you. But what if you work a couple more years? What if you work 5 more years? What if you want to retire before that? Then you've picked a date and it's not matched up to your retirement.
And the rates, we know they're going up and down, right? I mean, yeah, it's, but we do all that for folks. We help them do that.
And that's exactly what we do with an actual written financial plan. If you call the phone number you see down here, we have people standing by right now. I mean it. Pick up that phone, dial it right now. We'll schedule an appointment for you. With your appointment, like we said at the opening of the show, we'll give you a complimentary copy of Len's book, Way of the Financial Warrior. Like his client did, you can earmark it, you can underline it. Come in, ask your questions. Ask Len as many questions as you want to about what's in here. How do we get you defensive strategies for your retirement? Then we will put together that written financial plan for you. And it all starts right here. Call the phone number you see right down here. No cost, no obligation. More Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler when we get back right after this.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there every square. Happy birthday to you. You can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion...
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Safe Money with Len Strickler. I'm Spike Spangle, your host. Len, I don't think you could live here in Florida without already knowing about this story, but I want to ask you, what exactly does it mean? Tiger and Nike, they broke up. 27 years of a financial relationship together, and it seems like it's been an amicable divorce. In fact, I think Charlie, his son, actually signed on with Nike. The reason I ask you about this, the reason I wanted to bring this up is because there's different times in our lives when we need certain financial help, a certain kind of financial advisor, and that ship has done us well, and then we need to move on to maybe a different mode of transportation. But we get comfortable with what we're familiar with. We get comfortable with things that we are using all of the time. We've used a 401k maybe for 5, 10, 15, 20 years of an employer, and a lot of folks want to keep their money there. And it sounds reasonable, but is there a time sometimes when maybe we need to move on from our financial relationship and move to a different kind of relationship without any animosity?
Yeah, you know, we get this a lot with folks coming down to Florida, okay? A lot. Coming from New York, coming from, you know, just recently we had a gentleman had saw the TV and heard us on radio, said, I've been following you guys for quite a while. He actually came to the classic car, one of our events, right?
Yeah.
And this was probably a year ago, but he kept my card, and he is in a wheelchair. He got disabled. He got T-boned a number of years ago, but he had accumulated quite a bit of money from his past employer and his work. But he came down, and he said to me the same kind of thing. He said, Len, he said, your book, I love your book. You know, it just made a lot of sense to me. And so trying to help him, you know, in his retirement was one of the things that we were able to do.
There's a difference between the accumulation and the investing and the passive and turning it then into an income stream. There's different kinds of relationships. And you know what? Nike is more about the younger players, the current players who are in the midst, at the beginning, the hype of their careers. But even Tiger has realized he's at a different stage of his career. So maybe it's time, maybe he's gonna create his own brand, maybe he's gonna kind of do a little bit of his own thing, but maybe he needs a different advisory group for the stage that he's at.
Well, and
it's the same thing when we get to retirement.
That's what this gentleman said, the same thing. We hear it a lot. He said, Len, you know, I've got a guy, his friend in New York, and he said, but you know, it just feels like we've gotten close, and he kind of really, I don't think is, come in with some new ideas and new things. It's kind of the same thing all along the way here. Again, he's up north. You know, I'd really like somebody now. I live here now. We get that quite a bit. But he said, I heard you on the radio, and he said, I really, really, Len, there's something about your voice that I just knew I could trust you. And it's a great compliment. It really is. And he also loved the book. But he came in and he said, yeah, Len, he said, I want you guys to take over my finances here, okay? I don't know what the right word, I outlived or whatever my previous advisor, but again, like you said a number of times, Spike, do you still drive the same car? Right? I mean, you don't. I mean, there's things that have changed.
Yeah, and I think that would be what you would want to ask of your current financial relationship is what exactly do you want to get from it? Can you help me with now a drawdown strategy? Can you help me with a tax efficient strategy?
Right.
Am I able to talk to you and your firm and your representatives about estate planning? Do you mind helping me with long-term care and Social Security? this could be a different kind of relationship. I mean, I'm sorry, you asked that to some of those accumulation firms, they'd be like, I don't know.
Well,
what
that's exactly what you just said. The accumulation. A lot of the advisors, okay, and Art could share this with you. He was a, Prudential Securities advisor, right? He sold and bought and sold stock. Helped people, traded. But you're absolutely right. He needed somebody now that really could look at all of the aspects of his retirement plan. And a lot of these guys, they've been trained that way. They've been trained in the accumulation phase, right? And a lot of their companies, they only sell certain products as well. They push it from the top down. They push certain products, but they want to keep you in that market because, again, you're messing with the rice bowl here. You don't want to be, and we're going to share things with them about keeping their money, safe, okay? Particularly with maybe annuities. A lot of these other firms, they're not too big on these annuities, right? They bash them all the time, but there's a place for them if it's designed properly. And so that's the kind of thing we come up against, right? And again, I loved what you just said. A lot of times, they just want that accumulation because that's how they get paid. You're messing with their rice bowl.
They're in the growth, and maybe they'll help.
And they did well for them.
They did what they were supposed to. And we try to say, and it's very difficult because there's decades worth of research on this called behavioral finance. We are very emotional about our money, but what we're trying to say is try to take the emotions out of that relationship. You need to do what's best for you.
That's right.
and to try to figure it out. So there might be a different kind of advisor. And that's all we're saying is to ask yourself, what kind of advisor are you working with now? Even Tiger and Nike say, you know what, thanks a lot. You got me to this point.
Right.
Now it's time for me to move on to something else.
Absolutely.
So what would you like to say to everybody about that before we leave here today? Doing the written financial plan can help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, folks. I just want to say, come in and meet with us. We're more than happy. It's complimentary. It's not going to cost you a thing. But we feel that the experience that we have at LSF Capital, we can probably hopefully be maybe a different advisor for you and take you in some directions that are much more, not in the accumulation phase as much as the distribution phase, helping you get down that mountain safely. That's what we're about, and that's what we'd like to help you with. Come on in, and we'll be more than happy. And don't forget my book.
Way of the Financial Warrior. When you call that phone number down there, you'll get a complimentary copy of the book when you come in, and we'll put together your written financial plan. Look, you are at the retirement stage of your life. If you're there, make sure that you're working with an advisor who can help you with the drawdown strategy for you, your tax strategy, your estate planning strategy, your Social Security strategy, and your healthcare strategy, all put into one. It might be time for you to check on what kind of advisor you're working with. When you work with Len Strickler and the team here, you get a complimentary copy of the book and your own written financial plan. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again with Len Strickler once again next week.